All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 2-1 Detroit Lions earlier today, 20-6 home victory against the Atlanta Falcons. Here's what's so terrifying about this Detroit team. They did not play that great of a football game, and they demolished Atlanta. Defensively, 7 sacks. These guys were all over Desmond Ridder. These guys were all over the Atlanta Falcons offensive line, the rushing attack. The Atlanta Falcons have one of, if not the best rushing groups in the entire National Football League. And what did Detroit do? They said, we're not afraid of that. 20 carries, 44 yards for just 2.2 yards per carry. This is something that might go under the radar in this afternoon's victory for Detroit. Their defense was exquisite. And don't listen to people saying, oh, it's Desmond Ridder. He's not very flashy. We don't really know what he is. He hasn't played too much. That is true. I will give them that. But Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, 44 combined yards. I mean, that defense is extremely legit. We finally kind of saw everything, specifically the pass rush. We kind of finally saw it through 2 games, or in the 3rd game, really come together. We've seen flashes. We know it's there. The Detroit Lions have done a great job carrying last season's second half momentum into this season. I mean, a 20-6 victory. I mean, Jared Goff didn't play great. 22 of 33, 243 yards, a touchdown. He did have that weird interception, did have his first ever rushing touchdown as a Detroit Lion. But, these guys, the Lions are pretty banged up. They have some important players missing games. For example, no David Montgomery today. So we saw Jahmyr Gibbs, 17 carries, 80 yards. So in tonight's video, we're going to talk more about this Detroit Lions victory. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I do post a couple of Lions videos every single week. So Lions fans, if we could get this video to 250 likes, that would mean a lot to me. So this team wants it so badly. And you can tell by body language. I'm not trying to say Atlanta didn't want it, because Atlanta wanted it. Detroit just wanted it more. Specifically, I mean, it's honestly every single player on this team, but you can really see the intensity defensively. I also love Jared Goff's kind of low-key, intense demeanor that he has when when they're putting up touchdowns. Jack Campbell with a sack, Aiden Hutchinson with 2 sacks, forced fumble to seal the game, although it was pretty much already over. Harris with a sack, Barnes with a sack, Aleem McNeil in his 3rd season, a guy we really talked a lot about this offseason. He gets his first sack of the season. These guys were all over Ridder. I mean, they were all over Ridder. Benito Jones with a sack as well. 8 quarterback hits, 7 total sacks. They did have that turnover there to end the game. But this is a team that, they were shooting themselves in the foot for, durations of this game with all the penalties. Just very unlike Detroit. 10 penalties for 119 yards. They didn't win the turnover battle. They had 2 total turnovers. They still demolished Atlanta. So let's talk about this offense before we get any further into tonight's video. Once again, Jahmyr Gibbs, kind of his first game. 3 games into his NFL career, being RB1, took full advantage of it. Only 17 carries, but he did rush for 80 yards and along a 21, including an average of 4.7 yards per carry. So Jahmyr Gibbs outplayed Bijan Robinson today. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's call a spade a spade. Jahmyr Gibbs, I hear so much about Bijan Robinson, and I think Bijan Robinson's going to be a stud. I think the dude is going to be a stud. But with that being said, Jahmyr Gibbs, another running back selected in the 1st round, I feel like we haven't heard as much hype around Gibbs as we had with Robinson. The dude's the definition of a playmaker. I want to see him a little bit more involved with the passing game. He only had 2 targets, 1 catch for 2 yards this afternoon, but that rushing attack, once DeMont comes back, I like it. I like the yin and yang. I like the sugar and spice that they've got going on at that RB position. Now, they were missing a bunch of pieces, as we continue to say. Jameson Williams also still suspended. He'll be back soon, 3rd of the way through the season. But Amon-Ra St. Brown and the rookie Sam Laporta. Welcome to the NFL, Sam. Sam had a really solid first 2 games for it being his first 2 ever games in the NFL. But he really got it going, and he started the game off with a 45-yard touchdown catch, but he finished the game with 8 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. We heard it, in training camp. We heard it in rookie camps. We heard Sam Laporta's running with this first team unit, right? We go through preseason. We're still telling ourselves, I think Sam Laporta is going to be a 500+ receiving tight end in his first season. This dude is a legitimate threat, and there was a reason, not only that Detroit drafted him, but there's a reason that he was running with the first team the second he got drafted by the Detroit Lions. The second they hit mini camps, the second they hit training camp, Sam Laporta was getting praise and praise and praise. And through 3 games in his NFL career, we see exactly why he's been praised and praised and praised. This dude was pretty much the entire receiving unit for the Iowa Buckeyes last season. I was not known for having an elite or even good passing attack, but for a tight end to be the majority receiving yard leader, there's something there. And we've seen it through 3 games, especially. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond. Amon-Ra, establishing himself as a star wide receiver in the National Football League. 9 catches for 12. 9 catches for 12 yards. Could you imagine? 9 catches for 102 yards. And then Khalif Raymond, 4 catches for 55 yards. So once again, we want to reiterate the point. This is a banged up team. It's not like we're not all that worried. Some I don't like CJ Gardner-Johnson really sucked. That injury really sucks. I don't know if he's going to play. Nobody really knows if he's going to play the rest of this season, but they're dealing with some bang-ups, as every team in the National Football League is. But considering Jared Goff only threw it to 4 different wide receivers today, it is what it is. They still got the job done. And we say this after every Lions victory so far this season, through the first 2. These are games that Detroit, my entire life, I'm only 24 years old and I'm a Packers fan, but these are games that Detroit would just lose. I mean, they would just lose these football games. Now, I don't know what the stats, I don't know what the betting odds were, who was favored, Detroit or Atlanta. Atlanta's a solid football team, but if we're being real here, the way Detroit ended their season last year, with all the hype, all the great moves that they made, not only in this offseason, but ever since the guys got in town, this management staff got in town, these are games you got to win. You're at home against Atlanta, a struggling offense, and that's exactly what they did. I cannot reiterate the point enough. Desmond Ridder today, 21 of 38, averaged just 5.3 yards per catch, 201 yards. A lot of those were in the fourth quarter, where it was pretty much like, we're just not really trying to give up any touchdowns. We're not trying to give up any big plays. You can take these 5, 6, 7-yard passing completions if you want them. Keep burning down the clock, man. We'll give it up. Bijan Robinson, 10 carries, 33 yards. Tyler Algier, 7 rushes for 12 yards. This Lions defense did a phenomenal job. It was by far, we're only 3 games in here, and they played a difficult they had a great first game against Kansas City. Seattle, a little shaky. They gave up 37 points, lost in overtime. This is a huge win. And so now you're going up against my Cheeseheads, who they also had a great victory today, this Thursday night at Lambeau Field. It's going to be a must-watch game. Every single person in Detroit, every single person in Green Bay, every NFL fan is going to want to watch this football game. And if Detroit can win it, you're 3-1. You're looking good, but I'm really not concerned with Detroit. They're going to win enough football games as long as their key players stay healthy. They're going to win 10-plus football games. They're going to make the playoffs, but Green Bay kind of sneaky there. So let me know what you guys were thinking about Detroit's victory this afternoon. As always, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're going to continue to cover and break down this Lions team and this Lions game as the week progresses, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Great rest of your weekend, and we will see you